Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for Contract Connections presented by the County of Los Angeles Internal Services Department. My name is Michael O, and I am the General Manager for Purchasing and Contract Services. I want to thank our partners at the Department of Consumer and Business Affairs and the Department of Public Works for joining us today. You're going to learn about how to do business with the county, what we're buying, and how to compete for our business. You'll also learn about some of the programs we have to support businesses, including our small, local, and diverse companies. We may be physically distanced, and I may not have had a professional haircut in more than 4 months, but we are all virtually connected. To kick things off, I have the distinct pleasure of introducing the Director of Internal Services Department, Mr. Selwyn Hollins. Selwyn has dedicated his career to public service for the past 29 years. Selwyn's ultimate goal is to provide the best service to our community, and he is leading ISD to accomplish that by supporting our county departments and the businesses that help us run. Prior to working for the county, Selwyn held executive positions at various departments in the City of Los Angeles, including the Department of Transportation and Office of Finance. Please join me in welcoming Selwyn Hollins.
Good morning and welcome. So glad to see so many people tune in to today's event. I realize that there are other things that you could be doing at this time, but I appreciate you spending the time with us. We have a lot of valuable and useful information to share with you about opportunities with the County of Los Angeles. Whether you have a business, whether you're thinking of starting a business, whether you have existing contracts with the county, or you have an interest in having contracts with the county, today's event offers something for all. You will hear from experienced and knowledgeable professionals in county contracting and procurement, starting with my own team from the Internal Services Department, and our strong partners from the Department of Consumer and Business Affairs, which is led by their director, Joe Nikita, and the Department of Public Works, led by their director, Mark Pastrella. Also, all 5 members of the Board of Supervisors are extremely passionate about contracting and supporting business within the County of Los Angeles. A couple of these supervisors would like to share a message with you, starting with the supervisor of the 1st District, Supervisor Hilda Solis.
Good morning. I'm Supervisor Hilda Solis, LA County Supervisor for the 1st District. Thank you all for joining us today to learn about doing business with the county. I know that businesses have been suffering through this pandemic, but we're doing what we can to speed up recovery and bring back our region to full employment. We are rebuilding an economy that will look very different from what it once was. This new economy will need to be stronger and more resilient than ever. To ensure this, over the last few months, the county has been convening with leaders from every industry of our economy through the Economic Resiliency Task Force. This task force has given us a wealth of information and countless recommendations on how we can reopen and revive our economy. The county is reviewing those recommendations now in order to develop a plan to help our businesses flourish. At the same time, we are launching new programs to help businesses, especially small businesses, operating during the pandemic. Small businesses make up the engine driving our economy. Almost 95% of businesses in the county have less than 50 employees. The businesses in our low-income minority communities have been the hardest hit and need the most help. Latinos and Blacks are bearing the brunt of COVID-19 pandemic, both in terms of public and economic health. Many of these minority-owned businesses have closed either temporarily or permanently, are in need of financial assistance, grants, PPE, and access to resources. To address these needs, we are currently preparing to launch a pandemic-compliant business partnership program, which will provide up to $3,000 in funding for PPE to small businesses. We also have millions of dollars in various economic relief programs in place and in the pipeline that will offer financial assistance to micro entrepreneurs, nonprofit organizations, and local businesses. More information on all of these resources the county has to offer are available at the LA County Disaster Help Center, which can be accessed by lacountyhelpcenter.org. Today's live stream is a continuation of our efforts to engage businesses and provide as much assistance as we can. Our Internal Services Department, Department of Consumer and Business Affairs, and Department of Public Works will be providing you with information on how you can do business with the county. Thank you to all of our attendees for taking interest in the opportunities that the county has to offer. And I encourage you to engage our staff and ask questions so that you get the most out of this live stream event. Thank you, and I hope everyone has a great time. Buenos días, yo soy la supervisora Hilda Solís del primer distrito del condado de Los Ángeles. Gracias a todos por presentarse aquí hoy para aprender cómo hacer negocios con el condado. Yo sé que muchos negocios han estado sufriendo durante esta pandemia, pero estamos haciendo lo que podemos para ayudar a nuestra economía. Cuando ya está lista para reabrir, nuestra economía será muy diferente lo que era antes. Esta nueva economía va a ser más fuerte. Para cumplir con esto, el condado está trabajando con líderes de cada industria de nuestra economía a través del grupo de trabajo de resistencia económica. El grupo de trabajo nos ha dado mucha información de recomendaciones sobre cómo podemos reabrir nuestra economía. El condado está revisando esas recomendaciones para establecer un plan para ayudar a nuestros negocios. Al mismo tiempo, tenemos nuevos programas para ayudar a nuestros pequeños negocios. Las pequeñas empresas contribuyen tanto a nuestra economía. Casi 90% de los pequeños negocios del condado tienen menos de 20 trabajadores. Estos son los negocios que necesitan más ayuda. Vamos a lanzar un nuevo programa, el Asociación para Negocios Cumpliendo con la Pandemia, el cual ofrecerá hasta $3,000 en fondos para pequeños empresarios. También tenemos millones de dólares en varios programas de ayudar económicamente para negocios pequeños y grupos comunitarios. Hoy tenemos departamentos aquí para ayudarles. Les doy las gracias a todos por participar en este evento hoy. Espero que disfruten. Muchas gracias.
And that was a presentation or a message from our distinguished supervisor from the 1st District. A key message that we want to ensure that all of you who are viewing in today understand is we have many opportunities. The county is a large, extremely large organization with numerous opportunities in all sectors. And we want to make sure that comes through clear that today is a day of opportunity. Next up is a message from the supervisor of the 2nd District, Supervisor Mark Ridley Thomas.
Good morning, MRT here. It's a pleasure to connect virtually with all of you today. We are in an unprecedented moment and small businesses have been especially hard hit. For that, we are working to deliver every possible ounce of support, resources, and investment to get help to you and to make sure our region's economy gets back on track. We're actively working with state and federal agencies, private sector lenders, foundations, and philanthropy to secure resources to help you survive. It's just that simple. We have recently launched LA Regional COVID-19 Business Relief Fund to help fill that void, especially for small businesses and nonprofits that are not eligible for PPP or for other forms of assistance. This relief fund also complements programs we are offering, such as the LA CDA EDA Emergency Loan Program and the WEDAX Employer Assistance Grant Program and existing business support services such as layoff aversion and rapid response programs. Recovery will not be easy, but we will work together to make the future brighter than it would otherwise have been. Thank you and enjoy today's event.
Thank you, Selwyn, and thank you to the supervisors for those amazing videos. Before we introduce our first presenter, I want to address a few housekeeping items. You will have the opportunity to hear from a number of wonderful speakers today. You will feel the need to ask questions. Well, you're in luck. You should see a question function on the right-hand side of your screen. Please enter any questions you may have in that tool, and we will be able to see your question and answer them. From time to time, you will hear the lovely voice of Guyane Kazarian, who will read your questions for our presenters. During the presentations, we will try to answer as many questions as possible, but due to time constraints, we may not get to all of them during the live broadcast. Don't worry though, we will be posting all of the questions and answers following the event. Once we're done, you will also want to call a friend to share how amazing this event was. Don't despair. We will have a posting of this video very soon. You can watch us over and over again. My favorite thing about our Contract Connections events is meeting each and every one of you and seeing your bright and happy faces. Sadly, we will be missing that today, but we are very much interested in improving this experience for you in the future. We'll be sending out a survey after the event and would appreciate it if you could let us know how to make this virtual experience better for you. Finally, this is a live stream event. As you've probably experienced in various other avenues, sometimes the internet is great and sometimes the internet is not so great. I apologize in advance if we experience any issues, but please bear with us as we deliver this amazing program for you. Now, without further ado, our first presenter is Christy Carr, ISD's Division Manager for Contracts. She has over 15 years of government and procurement experience. She manages a huge portfolio for our county departments, including IT and professional services, and has been critical in the county's response to the COVID crisis, supporting programs for testing and quarantine isolation sites. Thank you for joining us today, Christy, and please feel free to begin.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome, and thank you again for joining us today. I am Christy Carr, the Internal Services Department Contracting Manager. I just want to first say that I hope you, your families, and your teams are remaining safe, healthy, and positive during this very difficult time. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, LA County ISD has been supporting the county's Office of Emergency Management, and we've needed to contract for several vital and critical services. These services are required to support COVID testing sites, all of our quarantine centers, and also to prepare county facilities to reopen. LA County relies on our vendors, you, our partners, to provide these critical services countywide. While contracting in LA County is decentralized and each department manages their own solicitations and contracts, ISD actually acquires several services on behalf of its 37 client departments. Today, I'll provide you with an overview on some of our master agreements that we're currently using to provide COVID support services to the county and the many contracting opportunities that are provided under these master agreements. First, our disaster and emergency services master agreements. Then I'll review our facility ancillary services master agreements, transportation services, as needed elevator and escalator repair services, laundry and linen services, and IT consulting services. Let me give you an overview on how our master agreement solicitation and award process works. First, for those of you who are not aware, an RFSQ is a request for statement of qualification, and an SOQ is a statement of qualification. First, you're going to locate our solicitation on the county's Doing Business with Us website by searching for the solicitation number, or by keyword, or by our department name. Then review the solicitation, prepare your written response, submit your statement of qualification in response to the RFSQ. Then ISD will evaluate that SOQ, qualify you, our vendors, execute that master agreement, add you to the category that you've qualified for. Then our county departments and ISD will identify the service need, prepare a subordinate solicitation, which is what we like to call a mini solicitation, in which you're only competing against those qualified contractors that are qualified in that category, a much smaller competition pool. ISD will then award a purchase order or work order, typically based on low bid, and then you, our contractor, performs the work. Now I'll introduce you to our first master agreement, our disaster and emergency services master agreement. ISD is seeking qualified companies to provide as-needed emergency services. This pool of qualified contractors will be utilized to support the operations of county facilities to ensure that the county's efforts are met to continue its functions during and after emergencies. We classify emergencies as those that cause interruption to county services and hinder our county resources. DESMA currently supports the county's efforts in maintaining an effective continuity of operations county-wide. DESMA has a 3-year base term, 3 2-year options, and it currently expires at the end of July in 2026. The provision of disaster and emergency services is on an as-needed basis, and vendors must be able to respond within 24 hours of a request. Services under these master agreements also cannot extend past 90 days. You, our vendors, can qualify in one or more of the 12 categories, which will be shown here on the next slide on the left. I really want to specify and point out our 12th category, which is shown here on the right. This is a brand new category that we just added a couple of weeks ago. It's our emergency temporary custodial services category that includes standard custodial services, enhanced cleaning, deep and biochemical cleaning, and cleaning and disinfection for facilities with suspected confirmed COVID-19. As you can imagine, this is our most critical category currently to ensure ours and yours health and safety during this pandemic. And we need a large pool of contractors to support these service needs. Just in the past 30 days, there's been 500 facilities that have required this type of cleaning. This solicitation can be accessed through the county's Doing Business with Us website. Solicitation number is 104565, and the contract analyst contact information is shown on the next slide. Then let me introduce you to our Facilities Ancillary Services Master Agreement. ISD is also seeking qualified companies to provide facility ancillary services required by various county departments. Approximate expenditures just last year alone under this master agreement were approximately $15 million. This master agreement has a base term of 3 years with 3 2-year options and currently expires at the end of March of 2027. Our FASMA, Facilities Services Ancillary Master Agreement, has 4 categories, but has several subcategories. And like our DESMA, vendors may seek to qualify in one or more of the service categories. The current categories are abatement and remediation, and that includes asbestos abatement, lead abatement, mold abatement, smoke and water damage. Consultant services, which again, asbestos, environmental, lead, parking, and site surveillance consultants. General services, which includes duct cleaning, moving, relocation, storage, pest control, stormwater and drain maintenance, and pressure washing services. And our 4th category, which is waste and rubbish. Category number 4 has been our most critical category during this pandemic to support our county hospitals and testing sites, specifically for services that include hazardous and non-hazardous waste removal and disposal, medical waste removal and disposal, chemical portable toilets, infectious substance waste and removal, and transport and disposal, and then also recycling services. On this master agreement, we also just added one additional service category, which you'll see on the right-hand side, number 5, dead animal disposal services. This is to support our animal control department. And we also have a pending category, which is number 6, that we anticipate releasing within the next week or 2. Again, this is as needed temporary custodial services that includes deep and biochemical cleaning and disinfection for facilities countywide with suspected and confirmed COVID-19 cases. This solicitation is also ongoing and open throughout the term of master agreement, which is currently through the end of March of 2027. If you're interested in becoming a qualified contractor and being awarded this MA, you may respond to the solicitation on the Doing Business with Us website with that solicitation number, and our contract analyst is provided on that solicitation as well, and we are more than happy to help walk you through the process, answer any questions that you may have, and feel free to reach out to that contract analyst or myself at any time. Our next master agreement that I'd like to introduce you to is our Transportation Service Master Agreement. We're also seeking qualified companies to provide transportation services that will be used countywide. The services required will include, but are not limited to, various shuttle services, bus services, van services, and for both scheduled and as needed trips. We're in the process of finalizing the solicitation. We anticipate releasing in the middle of September and having our proposers conference in October. This RFSQ will also be open and continuous and will be qualifying vendors on a flow basis. The specific COVID services under that category include the transportation of county personnel, homeless individuals, and patients. Next, let me introduce you to our as-needed elevator and escalator repair services master agreement. ISD is further seeking qualified companies to enter into master agreements to provide as-needed elevator and escalator maintenance services. These services include emergency calls, scheduled maintenance, preventative maintenance, on-call personnel, which includes 24 hours a day, 7 days a week with a 2-hour response time, and also elevator refurbishments. The timetable for this RFSQ is as followed. We just released the solicitation on July 13th, and we have our proposers conference actually on Wednesday of next week. So please take a moment, check out the solicitation on the county's Doing Business with Us website, and visit our proposers conference next week if you're interested. Under this MA, we've seen an increase in service needs during the pandemic, specifically at our county hospitals right now. And we only have 5 contractors on board at this time, and we're looking to increase this pool as soon as possible. As you can see, the county remains busy during this time. We also have 2 additional solicitations coming up in the next couple of months. These include laundry and linen services, which is the laundry of jackets, t-shirts, pants, undergarments, towels, and beddings. Specifically under this category, under this master agreement, COVID services include procurement and laundry of bed and bathroom linens for our hospitals and quarantine centers. We anticipate releasing this solicitation in October. Then we also have our IT consulting services master agreements. This is information technology support services, which includes professional IT services, and then also services to assist us in mission critical activities on an as needed basis. Services under these master agreements include troubleshooting and help desk support services to assist the county during our teleworking. We anticipate releasing this solicitation in September or possibly October of this year. Both of these RFSQs will be in an effort to establish a pool of qualified contractors, and both will remain open during the term of the MA, which means you can qualify at any time. Please watch for these to be posted soon on our county's Doing Business with Us website, which my colleague Gerald Plummer will go over with you in a few slides later in this presentation. During the COVID-19 pandemic, just as I'm sure that your companies have needed to do, the county has needed to change the way we do business. As such, to ensure our health and safety and the health and safety of our vendors, we've implemented the following new business practices. First, we're now holding virtual proposers conferences via Skype and Microsoft Teams. Next, we're also hosting virtual job walks We're posting videos and facility pictures in our conferences. We've also implemented e-signature for all of our contract and work order executions so that signatures can be executed remotely. Then we've revised our process for background checks, which is our live scanning process, and badging. We've also included FEMA provisions for federal reimbursement under our contracts and work orders. Additionally, we are now hosting all debriefings virtually, and we're now allowing for the electronic submission of proposals and bids. I'm going to stick around for a few more minutes in case anyone has any questions. Diane?
Thank you, Christy. We have received the following questions. Question 1, can you please discuss the process for applying to get on a master agreement with LA County?
Yes, absolutely. As that workflow chart showed, you will first locate that solicitation on our county's Doing Business with Us website. You will review all of the qualifications and capabilities that are required, identify the category that you're interested in, prepare your SOQ submission package, and then submit that statement of qualification per the instructions that are identified in that RFSQ solicitation. There are very clear step-by-step instructions on each RFSQ. And like I mentioned, the contract analyst contact information is also posted in that solicitation document and in the Counties Doing Business with Us website.
Thank you. The next question is, do you accept unsolicited proposals for emergency preparedness services that ISD may not be aware of? How can a vendor approach ISD with a master pricing agreement already established that all California government agencies can piggyback from?
That would be wonderful. The county is absolutely interested in hearing from our partners and our vendor community. In a few slides later on in this presentation, my colleague, Gerald Plummer, will go over the County's Doing Business with Us website and show where you can submit those proposals and also donations. And so please visit our County's Doing Business with Us website. It was the address that was provided on a couple of those slides, and we'll review that with you later as well. But you can submit proposals and also donations and pricing through the County's Doing Business with Us website. And the contact information for all contract managers and analysts is also posted on that Doing Business with Us website.
Next question, can you repeat the kind of transportation services you need?
Yes, the county is currently going to look for shuttle services, bus services, and passenger van services. This will be for scheduled trips and then also as needed trips. These will be used throughout the county at our 37 different client departments.
Okay.
Some of the COVID related services that we've needed recently include the transportation of county personnel, homeless individuals to quarantine centers, etc.
Okay. How long does it take to qualify for a master services agreement? I know some people who have set up to 18 months.
Upon receipt of a completed SOQ package, it typically takes about 2 to 4 weeks for the contract analyst to review that package. Occasionally, there may be forms that are missing, and we will reach out to the vendor that submitted that statement of qualification to request any missing documents. However, if the package is complete, it typically would take about 2 to 4 weeks. And we do work, please know, we do work with our vendors. If there are missing forms or if there's any missing information, we will contact you to obtain anything that is missing. Because our goal is to increase competition, increase our vendor pool, and provide all of the contracting opportunities that are available within the county to our vendor community.
The last question that we have is, can you repeat the consulting services opportunities under FASMA?
Yes, the consulting services under FASMA include lead and mold abatement. It also includes site surveillance, parking consultants, environmental consultants, and I believe that pretty much summarizes it. Asbestos, environmental, lead, parking, and site surveillance consultants. And that is under our Facilities Ancillary Services Master Agreement. Again, our county's Doing Business with Us website has amazing contracting opportunities, not only released by ISD, but all of the county departments. So I highly encourage all of you to check out and visit our county's Doing Business with Us website, where in addition to our open solicitations, there is also our previous awards that can be accessed so that you can do research, and also tons of resource information through our partners, such as the Department of Consumer and Business Affairs, and also general information for all vendors.
Thank you, Christy. That concludes all the questions we've received for you. Michael, back to you.
Great. Thank you so much, you guys. We really appreciate it. Stay safe.
Thank you, Christy. Next, I want to introduce Jerry Plummer, ISD's Division Manager for Purchasing. Jerry has more than 30 years of experience in purchasing and logistics in both the public and private sectors. Jerry manages more than $1 billion, with a B, dollars in spend at the county, and has been instrumental in the county's response to the COVID pandemic, especially in the procurement of personal protective equipment. Jerry, please take it away.
Thank you, Michael. And again, I wish to welcome and thank everyone for your attendance here in this event today. We hope that the information that is provided will help you know what we want, know what we need, and also to work with us through this COVID pandemic. Now, I'm going to talk about just a couple of our immediate needs for PPE or personal protective equipment, but I'd just go with a little history. Back 10 months ago, and it seems like it was longer than that, but only 10 months ago, the county procurement and purchasing personnel were doing what we called normal purchasing. We were buying things such as heavy equipment and chemicals for our power plants, computers, software, the occasional MRI machine. We were buying multifunctional devices, commonly known as copiers. We were doing abatement services. Those were what we considered normal. We were doing those for departments every day. We were supporting the 37 county departments and what they need to complete their missions throughout the county and for the citizens of LA. Fast forward to 2020, first quarter 2020, the new normal takes effect. Everybody is searching for PPE, right? Everything from masks to gowns to gloves to face shields and goggles and shoe covers and things that the normal everyday purchases were like, okay, yeah, I need a few thousand of those and I need a few thousand of those. Now we're talking about needing millions and millions and millions of these products. So I'd like to go over just our current immediate needs that we have in the county and give you the information. And hopefully after this, one of you, 2 of you, 10 of you will make contact with us and say, Jerry, I have what you need. These are the 3 immediate needs that we have. The first one, nitrile gloves. These are nitrile medical grade exam gloves. We have 4 county hospitals, clinics. We have social workers. We have our craftspeople. We have just folks coming back to the office that have a need or a want to wear a glove. This will help not spread, COVID-19 pandemic, right? So medical grade gloves, think about this. You have doctors and nurses and orderlies and hospital personnel that are dealing with patients day in and day out. And as you've heard from the news, the hospitals, they're being overrun with patients. Every time that a medical personnel touches a patient, they have to change their gloves, right? So they go in, see a patient, put on gloves, go see the patient. As they exit, they have to change their gloves, go see the next patient. 8 million gloves a month. 8 million gloves a month today is what our burn rate is. If we get into a surge, or as things continue, 8 million is going to turn into 10 million, it's going to turn into 12 million. I need constant supply. The county needs constant supply. So now, where do we get medical grade gloves? The first thing we do, this FDA 510K pre-market notification website. You don't need to write that down, as Michael said and Christy said. We're going to show you, you're going to have access to this presentation, so you don't have to feverishly write down that URL. But every glove that we want to purchase will be listed on this website. So the first thing we get when we get an offer for gloves is we go to this website and make sure that the manufacturer and the model number are listed there. It doesn't stop there though. Our medical personnel want to see the specifications on those gloves. They want to see what the results were for the tensile strength, for the elongation before and after aging, and so on and so forth. So what we're going to ask you to do when you have gloves that meet this specification, send us that specification. We're going to send it to our medical personnel for final approval. Once we get that, we're good to go. We're going to be issuing POs. The second item, boot covers. Sounds silly, right? Boot covers and shoe covers. I mean, they kind of look silly. They cover your shoes. But again, like gloves in the medical field, they need to happen. They help control the spread of disease. For boot covers, our craftspeople, right? They're going into those same facilities and they need to protect themselves. So the boot covers, they go over the boot, they go up over what we call the bunny suit, commonly referred to as coveralls. We call them bunny suit just because we like the name bunny suit and we like to see those guys in them. We need boot covers. So we're feverishly looking for samples and supply of boot covers. The last thing that we have an immediate need for, disinfecting wipes. I don't know where all the Clorox and Lysol wipes went. I think it went with toilet paper back in March, right? This whole thing started, for some reason, toilet paper went off the shelf. I think it's coming back, unless you go to a store late in the day, but I think it's coming back. Disinfecting wipe hasn't come back. Every store I go into, I look for something and the shelves are still empty. I can now buy toilet paper, but I can't find a disinfecting wipe. These are the specs we want on disinfecting wipes. We want an alcohol-based, whether it's isopropyl alcohol or ethanol, but it has to be, we're looking for the 70% or more in an alcohol-based disinfecting wipes. So those are the three different immediate needs that we have in the county. And so if there's anyone out there that can certainly help us, we hope to hear from you soon. Some of the additional details of what we want to do. We're projecting 6 months to a year. Our supplies, I don't know if it's going to stay at 8 million gloves for 6 months to a year, but it's okay if I have some in a warehouse. I want to do scheduled deliveries. You know, we've been, for the last 6 months, we've been getting hit with people that have, oh, I have 1,000 gloves here, or I have 10,000 boxes here. I really want to get with someone that has access to stock, access to scheduled deliveries monthly or weekly, with fixed pricing. And fixed pricing is, I don't know if that's still a term today with some of the PPE that we're buying. A lot of it is supply and demand, so fixed pricing, maybe just per shipment. The county early on decided that we were not going to prepay for product. You've probably seen issues with the state. They prepaid, never got the product, and now they have to go chase that money back. So wherever, you know, we're not prepaying. So please don't send me an offer with a prepayment schedule. And then again, samples may be requested. Again, just like in the gloves, we have specific requirements that we need, and we may need a sample. That may also be a problem for us in the fact that, oh, I've got these today, they might be on tomorrow, but still, if we need a sample, we will be requesting a sample. So now I've told you, we've gone over what our immediate needs are and how do we get there, right? So many people on this call today are registered. However, there are some not that are registered vendors with the county. So if those that are registered will indulge me for a few minutes, we'd like to just go through the registration process. And before we get into the detail, I would like to just say there are 3 major advantages to being registered as a business with the County of Los Angeles. First of all, is you go into a vendor database. So when a procurement person or a purchasing person is looking for a commodity or service, we will go into that vendor database, look up that commodity, see who's registered for that commodity or service, and we will reach out. That's number 1. Number 2, if you're not registered with the County of Los Angeles, there's no way I can issue an award. I can't issue a PO, I can't issue a contract. Oh, by the way, Christie cannot either. So you want to be registered in order to get an award. And I think the last item I want to cover, and this is probably more important to you, the vendor community, than myself, is I can't pay you unless you're registered. And I think most of you want to be paid for work and product that you do. So those are the 3 advantages of becoming a registered vendor with the County of Los Angeles. Now let's get into the specifics. So the bottom of this screen shows the Doing Business With Us website URL. As Christy alluded to, there is a lot of information at that website. You can look up solicitations that are published and open for bids. There's a whole list of information on there. There's also on this, and this is a screenshot of the homepage, you see the 3 red blocks up at the top? Those are surveys where you can provide us information on the commodities and services that you offer. We review this information all the time, and we do reach out to folks who can provide us those services. So pay attention to those 3 blocks at the top. Now to register, you see the circled register button. You would click there to start your registration. Takes you to the next page where you go new registration. So you see the 3 blocks also. There's a new registration, login or update or re-registration. For those of you that are already registered and need to update, maybe you've come across some new commodities or services that you can provide, you would want to log in and update your registration. But for you that need to register, you would click on the new registration. Once you get here, this is the first time you'll need to enter something. So we need to know your federal ID number or your tax ID number, or if you're a sole proprietor, your social security number. You would enter it here and then click enter. Now we need to know who you are. We need to know company information. So I'm not sure if you can see it on this slide, but there are red asterisks on required fields. So we want to know, your company name, whether you're a profit, nonprofit, number of employees. So this is very general company information that we need on you. Once you complete that, you would hit save next. Now we need to know about you. We need to know your address. More importantly, you see the yellow highlighted section. That is for an email. Back when I started with the county, some people call it the Stone Age, we used to do everything through USPS. We would put all solicitations in an envelope, put a stamp on it, send it to the post office, and however long the mail took to get to you, that is when you got the solicitation. We came up into the some say the 20, some say 21st century, and now we do everything electronically, and we do everything via email. So when you put in an email in this section, please make sure it is an active and correct email address. Everything the county does will go out electronically through that email. All of our notifications of solicitations, all of our contact that we want to make with you, the vendor, the supplier, will go out to that email. So again, active, correctly spelled. So if it's AOL, if it's Gmail, if it's whatever, make sure that email address is correct. Real quick story, since I have a minute and I have your attention. I had a vendor call me some time ago and say, Jerry, I haven't had notifications from the county in approximately 2 years. I looked up his registration. I said, oh, your email contact is sallysue@aol.com. I said, who is Sally Sue? They said, well, she's a former sales rep. I said, former sales rep? When did she leave? She left 2 years ago when they stopped getting notifications. So it'd be incumbent upon you that when the person who has, if you listed there in that email address, that you update it as you go along. Oh, by the way, Sally Sue went to work for a competitor for that vendor, so she was still getting the county notifications. The vendor was not. Takes us to, speaking of USPS, we do want to make sure your address is correct. So you do need to fill in some information here, apply the USPS address, which is the 4 digits. So we, like, you know, our address here is 90063 dash the 4 digits. You can also skip this this step if you wish. W-9, we need to know W-9 for the tax purposes. So some of this will default, some of this won't. So again, fill out the completed or the required fields and then click enter. We now need you to attest to the information that you just entered. So again, we want you to attest, click the attest button. Now, the next important step. We need to know what services and commodities you can provide. So you see where the arrow is, that is just a search field. So it's an alpha field. You can put in, let's say, gloves, nitrile gloves. We run on the NIGP commodity code listing. So the word glove is in the description. Then what you'll see is what you see here, a bunch of commodities come up and with a select button. You would then just hit select on each and every one that describes the commodity and services that you can provide. Now, maybe something doesn't come up. When you look at concrete, it may not come up because concrete could be rock, sand, and gravel, right? Or it could be something other description. So you want to try keep playing with this until the commodities and services that you can provide pop up. You can select them and then continue. We used to just provide you, once you were finished, with a vendor ID number and a PIN, and you would use that information to get back in and make changes to your account. We have now added this step where we really want you to create a user account. So you would complete this, save and finish, and then that way you would use that information when you need to go back in and update your account. Once you've finished with the registration, you'll get this notification saying that your submission is received, and soon you will be contacted with the final information that you need. That is the registration process. That is our immediate needs. I do have some time for questions. So Diane, do we have some questions?
Yes. Thank you, Jerry. We have the following questions. Does the vendor have to be based in Los Angeles County? Can the contractor be located out of state?
So no, you do not need to be located in Los Angeles County or Los Angeles, California. You can be out of state. We just want you to be able to provide us with product and services that will help us get through this thing. So the only thing that I do ask that if you are out of state, we're hoping you have a California tax ID number. That saves us from issuing use tax directly to the state.
Okay, next question. Can a startup have a chance to offer their PPE products?
Yes. That's the simple answer is yes. We want to look at anyone and we want to review any product that can help us get through this pandemic.
Okay. Next question, is hand sanitizer covered in the county's PPE needs?
It definitely is. It definitely is. Hand sanitizer was a rare commodity back in March and April. It's loosened up a bit. We see a lot of stock available now, but we definitely hand sanitizer. If you can't get to soap and water, hand sanitizer is the next best thing.
Okay. Can Canadian companies participate in bidding for a PPE contract?
Do we like Canadians? Yes, we do. So yes, so Canadian companies can. We like to see all offers.
Okay. Can out-of-state vendors bid?
Definitely. As long as you're registered, right? As long as you have something that we need, we're happy to look at that. We're happy to accept your bid. We're happy to evaluate that, and we're happy to award.
And the last question, how do I become a vendor for Project Home Key? Ooh.
Project Home Key does not fall under the purchasing purview. That is a question we'll have to follow up with you. So if we can get your contact information, we can definitely follow up with an answer for that.
Okay. Actually, one other question came in. Can the vendor be based in Orange County and still apply for LA County bids?
Certainly. That's my home county, Orange County. It's great. As long as you're wearing a mask and practicing social distancing, go for it. Register, send us your information. We'll be happy to look at it.
Okay. Michael, back to you.
Thank you, and thank you, Jerry. As you can see, some of the stories that you've probably been reading about in terms of protective equipment, Jerry has been living 24/7. Next, we have Fernando G. Nieto, Program Manager at the Los Angeles County Department of Consumer and Business Affairs, Office of Small Business. Since 2015, he has specialized in implementing LA County procurement equity initiatives, providing government contracting technical assistance to clients, and helping small, diverse vendors participate in the county's certification programs. Fernando currently manages the daily operations of the LA County Procurement Technical Assistance Center and Certification Unit. Fernando, you're on.
Thank you, Michael, and good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here with us today. I'm going to talk to you about the county certification programs that are designed to help businesses just like yours be more competitive and win government contracts. But first, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the services available at the Office of Small Business. Our team provides LA County vendor assistance on registering and getting certified through the county's vendor programs. We also operate the County of Los Angeles Procurement Technical Assistance Program, or PTEC. Through this program, our counselors provide technical assistance and free one-on-one counseling to establish businesses seeking to break into the government marketplace. Our counselors specialize in doing business with the county and federal government, but we can provide assistance for all levels of government. And then finally, we also offer a small business concierge service. The Small Business Concierge is a one-stop shop for business owners in Los Angeles County. This program offers assistance to not just business owners, but also aspiring entrepreneurs and new businesses with obtaining the necessary permits to operate legally, find funding for starting your business. We provide one-on-one counseling and much more. So now I'd like to talk to you about the certification programs. The county has 4 total certification programs, which you can see here. The Local Small Business Enterprise, commonly known as LSBE, Disabled Veteran Business Enterprise, or DVBE, and Social Enterprise, also known as SE. These are the county's preference programs, which means the primary benefit to becoming certified is a 15% bid price reduction, or preference. Later in the presentation, I will illustrate how a bid price reduction can make you more competitive when bidding on county contracts. In fiscal year 2019-2020, vendors that were certified through one of our preference programs received over $690 million in awards, which means that these programs really do help your business compete effectively and more effectively in the county marketplace. The county also certifies minority-owned, woman-owned, and disadvantaged businesses through our Community Business Enterprise program. Although there is no preference benefit for this certification, certified businesses receive the benefit of becoming more visible as they are placed on the list of Certified Community Business Enterprises, or CBEs, which is often requested by other public agencies and prime contractors to help fulfill their prime and subcontracting needs with small, diverse businesses. Now I'm going to tell you about the eligibility requirements for becoming a certified vendor in each of these programs. So first up is LSBE. We realize that there's a ton of certifications out there for businesses to keep track of, especially when you're doing business with the government. So that's why the county has tried to make our certification process as easy as possible for local businesses to participate in. We've done this by accepting the certification of 2 other large public agencies in the region. The first agency is the California Department of General Services. So as long as you're certified as a small business or micro business with the California Department of General Services, then you essentially qualify for the county's LSBE program. The other agency is LA Metro's Small Business Certification. As long as you have one of these certifications from one of these agencies, and you are also located, you have your principal place of business located in Los Angeles County for the previous 12 months, then you could qualify for the local small business enterprise preference program. So in terms of having the most benefits, this is the county's primary certification program. It is the only program which has a 15-day prompt payment program. Through this program, LSBEs receive payment for the goods or services they provide within 15 days of an undisputed invoice, which can really be huge for small businesses. LSBEs are also eligible for the 15% bid price preference and listing on the county's exclusive database of certified businesses. So you heard Gerald mention that when a buyer is searching for a vendor that sells a particular good, then they'll go on to that vendor database. They'll type in this product or the service that they're looking for, and they'll get a list of vendors. Now, if you become certified through a LSBE, DVBE, or SE program, essentially you're placed on that, not just that database, but also a separate exclusive database for certified businesses that has far less vendors and businesses on there. So what that essentially means is that if a buyer is looking for a particular good or service and they use the certified listing, instead of seeing dozens and dozens of vendors, they're probably going to see closer to like 5 or 10 vendors in a given product or service category. So that really, really helps make your business more competitive, or rather, I'm sorry, more visible. LSBEs are also eligible for the county simplified acquisition process. The simplified acquisition process streamlines purchases between $5,000 and $25,000 from certified vendors. I believe my colleague from Public Works will be covering that program with a little bit more detail later on. So our next certification is the Disabled Veteran Business Enterprise, or DVBE. This program is meant to recognize those businesses that are owned and controlled by one or more disabled veterans. In order to become certified as a DVBE with the county, a business must first be certified as either a Disabled Veteran Business Enterprise with the California Department of General Services, or DGS, also known as DGS, or as a Service Disabled Veteran-Owned Small Business with the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. So as long as you're certified by either one of those programs or both, then you qualify for the county's DVBE program. It doesn't matter where you're located, because unlike the LSBE program, there is no geographic preference for this certification, which means the business can be located anywhere to qualify for this program. So the benefits are similar to the LSBE program. You have the 15% bid price preference. You also get listing on the county's exclusive database of certified businesses, and you have access to the simplified acquisition process. Now, last but not least, the Social Enterprise Preference Program was designed to increase county contracting opportunities for businesses that have a social, human justice, or environmental mission integrated into their business model. When it was launched in 2016, it was the first certification of its kind in the nation, and it is the only certification program we offer that allows both for-profit and nonprofit entities to qualify. Now, there are several ways to qualify as a social enterprise. You may qualify for the program if you fall into just one of the following categories. Either be in operation for at least 1 year, providing transitional or permanent jobs or job training to a transitional workforce. Be certified as a B Corporation by an organization called B Labs, or be incorporated as a benefit corporation or a social purpose corporation with the California Secretary of State. And last, you can qualify by being certified as green by a city government located within the County of Los Angeles. The benefits for social enterprise include a 15% price preference, eligibility for the county's exclusive master agreement for social enterprises. So Christy talked a lot about the different master agreements that were available with the county. There's also a master agreement that's exclusively for social enterprises. So getting on a master agreement can really significantly increase the probability of winning county bids and winning county business. And this master agreement is exclusive to social enterprises. So in order to even apply for that master agreement and try to get on it, the very, very first step is you have to be certified as a social enterprise. And then last is you're also eligible for the simplified acquisition process. So those are our 3 preference programs. Each of these each of these programs you can apply online, and you can access the certification on certify.lacounty.gov. One more time, I'll give you that web address. It's certify.lacounty.gov. Now, I want to explain how the 15% bid price preference works. So in this example, we have 3 companies bidding on a county solicitation. Company 1, Company 2, and Company 3. Company 1 is the lowest bidder, and Company 3 is the certified bidder. Normally, in this example, if this example was based solely on price, Company 1 would win the award. However, or not just solely on price, but also if none of the companies were certified. However, since Company 3 is certified, the original bid amount is reduced by $24,750. This amount is actually calculated on the proposed price of the lowest bidder, or Company 1, which is $165,000. So 15% of $165,000 is $24,750, which then gets deducted from Company 3's proposed bid amount. This deduction gives a certified vendor, or Company 3, the lowest bid amount of $160,250 for the purpose of evaluating the bid. And in this example, because they, after applying the preference, they have the lowest bid amount, they will win this award. However, the beauty of the preference is that the certified vendor will receive their full bid amount of $185,000. Now, one final note is it's important to note that preference can reach a maximum of $150,000. So the certified vendor's bid amount can be reduced by as much as $150,000. So that can be really, really significant toward being more competitive. So now we have our community business enterprise. So although this program isn't a preference program, as I mentioned earlier, the main benefit is that businesses that become certified through the community business enterprise program are placed on a list. And every day we receive requests for this list from different large prime contractors or different agencies that are trying to either market or spread the word on different opportunities that they have, or they're looking to fulfill some diverse small business subcontracting needs. So the county CBE program is what I refer to as an umbrella certification, because it houses the minority-owned, women-owned, and disadvantaged businesses. In order to qualify as an MBE, business must be owned by a U.S. citizen or lawful permanent resident. It must also be at least 51% owned and controlled by one or more minorities who fall into one of the categories listed on this slide. Next slide, please. The WBE certification is similar in that in order to qualify, the business must be at least 51% owned and controlled by one or more women. And then lastly, to become a disadvantaged business enterprise, or DBE, with the County of Los Angeles, a business must first be certified through the California Department of Transportation or any authorized state and local agency which certifies DBEs. Now, I'd like to switch gears very briefly. So we all know businesses have been having a really, really hard time, and the county is trying to do its part to help those businesses. So I wanted to let you all know about the LA County COVID Fund, the LA Regional COVID Fund. So the LA Regional COVID-19 Recovery Fund will deploy $3 million in grants available at $5,000 or $15,000 to micro entrepreneurs, small businesses, and 501c3 nonprofits. There are a total of six rounds, with finalists notified after each round. And then round 2 just closed on July 24th, but round 3 will open again on August 3rd. So if you're interested in applying, you can apply online at lacovidfunds.org/grants. However, if you have any questions on whether you qualify, really any questions related to the grant, you can give us a call or give them a call at 833-238-4450. Now I'd like to kick it over to Guyane to see if we have any questions.
Thank you, Fernando. We have the following questions. What does 15% bid price reduction mean for LSPE?
So as I illustrated in the slide, essentially the 15% bid price reduction or preference, it's not only available for LSPEs, but also disabled veteran business enterprises and social enterprises. And essentially what it does is it lowers the price that you quote the county for a particular, to provide the county a particular service or product. Essentially, it reduces that amount that you quote the county by as much as 15%. So it really helps make the certified vendor more competitive, at least in the pricing aspect of it, of that solicitation.
Okay. Next question, how can our company apply for the WBE certification? Is there a cost?
So, a good question. There's actually no cost to anything that I talked about here. Any of the services, whether it's one-on-one technical assistance, or just giving us a call for assistance on guiding you through a certification program or just becoming certified. There's absolutely no cost for any of our services. And in order to become certified for our community business enterprise program, you could visit our website and find a link that will take you directly to the online application. All of our applications for all of our certification programs are online, and you can find those at certify.lacounty.gov.
Next question, does the county accept the state small business certification?
Yes, in fact, we do. The county practices reciprocity with the state's small business and disabled veteran business enterprise certification programs. So essentially, if you're certified with the state for either one of those certification programs, and you're for LSP and you're also located in LA County, you just have to fill out the application. That way we can, that way you'll show up in the county's system as a certified vendor, and you can start reaping the benefits of becoming certified.
Next question, does the LA Metro DBE certified transfer over?
Yes, so it transfers over in the sense that we accept it, but very much like the state certification, we still need you to apply. That way you show up in our system as being a certified vendor. But yes, the county will accept LA Metro small business certification. You just have to take the extra step of registering as a vendor and then applying for the certification online.
Okay. How do I apply for CBE?
For CBE, so that application is available online. You could find the application on certify.lacounty.gov, and that website is pretty straightforward, pretty easy to find what you're looking for and access the application. But once again, certify.lacounty.gov. That is where you can find all of the county certification program applications.
The last question, if my business is out of state, but I want to become certified in LA County, what would I need to do?
So you do have some options there. Well, for one, you can have multiple offices, as long as the principal place of business is located in Los Angeles County to qualify for the LSPE program. However, there is in order to become a DBBE, you don't have to have a geographic, you don't have to be located in LA County. And also for social enterprise, you just have to have a major office located in Los Angeles County. So not necessarily a principal place of business. There is one more way to qualify for county federally funded solicitations, and that's essentially if you're a small business by federal size standards, which is considerably larger than what the county considers a local small business. If you're a small business by federal size standards, and that is reflected in the System for Award Management, or your SAM profile, which is the Federal Vendor Registration System, then we can still certify you as a small business enterprise. You just won't have that added local preference, and you won't be eligible for the preference on county funded solicitations, only for federally funded county solicitations.
Thank you, Fernando. Michael, back to you.
Thank you. And thank you, Fernando. As you can see, not only do we want to work with you, but we want to support you. We are lucky to have with us today Robert Murphy, who works for the Los Angeles County Department of Public Works, one of the largest public works agencies in the nation, with a workforce of 4,000 employees and an annual budget of over $2 billion. Robert oversees the Business Outreach and Compliance Unit in the Business Relations and Contracts Division, which provides business-friendly contracting opportunities, as well as a broad range of programs designed to promote local economic growth and prosperity. Robert, take it away.
Thank you so much, Michael. I appreciate it. First, I want to thank our partners at Los Angeles County Internal Services Department for generously allowing us to talk to you about the contracting and procurement opportunities that are available at Los Angeles County Public Works. Before I really get into the main content of my presentation, I want to very quickly give you some background information on Public Works. We have incredibly diverse operations that fall within 6 core service areas, which are transportation, water resources, environmental services, construction management, development services, and emergency management. And we're working on roads, traffic signals, bridges, airports, sewers, flood control, water supply, water quality, water conservation, and many other crucial activities. And even with everything that's going on in the world right now, Los Angeles County Public Works is a fully operating department that still provides our complete line of services to the public. And so now, what does that mean for you? It means that just as always, Los Angeles County Public Works still needs the help of private businesses to deliver those services. Right now, we have over 800 active contracts totaling over $2 billion, covering the broad range of disciplines I just mentioned and more. We have a website that allows you to see what types of contracting opportunities are available to you. I want to be clear that it's different than the website that was mentioned earlier, that they have a similar name. One was called Do Business with Los Angeles County. Ours is called Do Business with Public Works website. And you can successfully research solicitations and help prepare you for bids and proposals. On this website, you'll be able to filter and search the contracts that are you can filter and search them in the best way that fits your needs. So if your business offers a very specific service or product, you can filter your search to capture only those types of solicitations. For example, you can filter by building and infrastructure projects, professional services, purchasing opportunities, and sundry services. You can, there's another way to filter out the opportunities. You can also search by the status of the solicitation, and that means you can look at the open solicitations or upcoming solicitations. You can also look at the recently awarded or closed solicitations, and this gives you a sense of the type of services or products we've needed in the past and very well could need in the future. And of course, you always have the option to search through all the solicitations. So once you see something that interests you, then you click on the link which leads you to some just basic information about the solicitation, including the type of contract, a short description of the scope of work or services, and any essential timelines that are associated with the solicitation, and of course the estimated contract amount. Once you find that contracting opportunity that's a good fit for your business, I recommend that you become very well acquainted with the requirements of the solicitation. On the screen, you can see some of the key areas to carefully research and understand. These include the scope of services, important dates, the contract administrator that is responsible for that specific solicitation, and of course the various documents that are crucial for you to understand and successfully prepare your bid proposal. Pay close attention to all these details before you proceed with the bid or proposal instructions. And finally, I don't expect any of you to have the time to check our website daily, and I don't want you to miss out on some of the great opportunities that we have. I urge you to sign up on our Do Business with Public Works website for our weekly emails, that they inform you of all new solicitations and any other information and resources for small businesses. And it's as simple as typing in your email address and clicking on Sign Me Up. That concludes my presentation. I thank you very much for your time. I hope you found it useful. Feel free to contact me if you need any further information. I'm going to hand it back over to Michael O to introduce one of my Public Works colleagues.
Thank you, Robert. As you heard just now, Public Works is huge, so they have two presenters today. Our final presenter is Carlos Rodriguez, who is a procurement buyer at the Department of Public Works, Workforce Support Division, Materials Management Section. Carlos is the Public Works Vendor Liaison. He also has more than 25 years experience in logistics and assists end users with troubleshooting purchasing issues. You're on, Carlos.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for allowing me to be here today. I'm here to share the different opportunities and the benefits that there are when doing business with Public Works. So first we'll begin with the procurement processes, which there are requests for over 3,400 employees for materials and services on an as-needed basis. Just want to make that clear. So there are 20,000 types of materials and services that we purchase at Public Works. For example, we have construction materials, barriers, electrical items, tables, chairs, IT hardware. There are unusual items though, such as goats for landscaping, worms for composting, and those goats that are needed out there on the side of the freeways, and that's what they're doing. They're preparing the land. There are other purchasing items that we do purchase office supplies or products such as keyboards, ergo chairs, and power tools, for example. But we also purchase media buys for advertising for public outreach. And that's really to educate residents about recycling and other public works programs. As an example, we have sharps. Now this program helps the residents by providing specialized boxes to dispose of medically prescribed needles, so they will not end up in just any landfill or so. The Public Works facilities are located from Malibu to Pomona, as well as from Lancaster to San Pedro. Now, we do encourage vendors to register through ISD vendor relations. Public Works, we are a strong supporter of local communities, and that can help strengthen the economy and create jobs in the community, as we definitely need at this time. Now, as Fernando has mentioned, there are benefits to registered as a local enterprise. There is a 15% bid preference. It's where the vendor receives a 15% bid preference for requests over 5,000 during the evaluation process. And there's also bids between 1,500 to 5,000, and those can be processed with one small vendor quote only. Other benefits, requests between 5 and 25,000, those can be processed in-house through the Simplified Acquisition Program, which is known as SAP. And here we will only require 2 small business vendor quotes. And of course, if there are questions regarding the registration, please contact the Department of Consumer and Business Affairs. the vendor information distribution. So, every time we receive an email from vendors or we go out to events, we definitely share the capability statements to all the end users and other buyers. So whenever there's a need for a specific commodity or service, we'll reach out with a quote request. Now, there are, during this time, the pandemic purchases. There are frequently purchased items such as P95 masks, hand sanitizers, disinfectant wipes, face coverings, a little bottle of cleaners, and antibiotic cleaners or what have you. But, these items, there were issues in sometimes being able to purchase. They weren't available at times. So there are times maybe it would take 3, 4, 5 weeks to receive. And, there are lessons to be learned through this process at this time. But, at the inception, with thoroughness and diligence and follow through, we were able to meet the demands successfully. And that concludes my presentation. And Michael, go ahead.
Thank you, Robert and Carlos. And thanks again to all of our presenters. We have a few minutes here for some final questions. Diane, can you please read out the first question?
Okay, give me 1 second. One question, can you describe further the types of moving services you are looking for?
Types of moving services? Well, you know what, that would, I'd love to, answer that question in a more thorough, and give you a more thorough answer to be more fair. So, please feel free to send me an email and I can go ahead and reply on those moving services for you.
Okay, thank you. At this time, we don't have any more questions for Public Works.
Okay, great. Diane, do we have any questions for any of our other presenters in the time remaining?
Yes. Give me 1 second.
Sure thing. And as you ask the question, maybe if you can identify the person who you would like to answer, that would be great.
Okay. This question is for Christy. How can contract language be implemented in RFP and request for quotes to incentivize corporate bidders to support the county small business utilization program?
We actually do have language in our solicitation to support all of our small business programs, as DCBA mentioned, and our solicitations for RFPs and RFSQs do include that same preference program of 15% for LSBEs, our DVBEs, and our SEs as well. Further, ISD contracts works very closely with DCBA. Whenever we do have upcoming contracting opportunities, we reach out to DCBA and not only post our solicitations and contracting opportunities on the County's Doing Business With Us website, but we also ask DCBA to partner with their vendors, their CBEs, et cetera, to distribute those contracting opportunities and solicitations. Actually, just recently, DCBA was able to notify about 10,000 additional vendors outside of the County's Doing Business With Us website about some of our solicitations. So please know that our solicitations do include that same preference and the same reference to small businesses, LSBEs, and all the PPEs.
Thank you, Christy. This question is also for you. Does ISD offer preference for woman-owned, minority-owned, DVBA, or other state or federal categories?
We do not at the time. That is something that the county is looking into, but the 15% preference is solely right now for LSBEs, the local small businesses, social enterprises, and the DVBEs. But that is something that the county is looking into.
Okay. Thank you, Christy. The next question is for Jerry. Are unconventional PPP options evaluated? Example given, not quite gloves, but achieves same purpose.
we will look at any offer that is given to us. I'm not exactly sure what unconventional means, but you know, we're always looking for solutions. So if there's a product out there that provides us for a solution to a challenge that we have, we'll definitely look at it.
Okay.
Great question.
Thank you, Jerry. The next question is for Fernando. What is the concierge phone number? Mute. You're on mute, Fernando.
Sorry about that. You can reach the concierge by calling our main phone line, which is 833. Actually, hold on. 833-805. I mean, I'm so sorry. 1-800-805-1196.
Okay. Next question. Again, this is for you, Fernando. Does the social enterprise qualification include a 501c3? Any additional steps for California or where to find it?
So the social enterprise certification accepts both for-profit and nonprofit entities, and nonprofit does include the 501c3. And you can find the application online at certify.lacounty.gov. And once again, let me give our phone number where you can contact us. It's 1-800-593-8222. Once again, 1-800-593-8222, and the applications are available on certify.lacounty.gov, G-O-V.
And another question for you, Fernando. Does a minority-owned business qualify for the 15% discount rate?
It actually does not. So that's actually not due to the county's choice. The county is restricted by Proposition 209, which was passed, I'm not totally certain, a couple decades ago. And Proposition 209 essentially limits the county's ability to grant a preference based on a racial or gender bias. But that actually will be up for vote in the upcoming California. That will be up for vote, up for repeal, essentially. So voters will be able to repeal Proposition 209, which would ultimately allow the county to potentially add a preference to minority and women-owned businesses.
Thank you. Next question is for Jerry. Do you have a one-on-one mentorship relationship for new vendors?
We don't currently have a mentorship program, but it's definitely something that I'd be interested in looking at and seeing what we can do in regards to creating one.
Okay, I think that's all the questions that we have for now. Michael, back to you.
Thank you, Guyan. You know, I've been scanning some of the questions as we're moving through, and we're still getting a number of them in. I encourage you to enter them in because, as I mentioned, we will be answering every one, if not on the live broadcast, in a follow-up. One question did come in from our wonderful Small Business Commissioner, Anthony Williams, who is watching. He's a huge supporter of us, and he is asking me, is the facilities rehabilitation program continuing as planned? And for those of you who are in the construction field, yes, it is. The capital program is proceeding, and I believe they are still on target for the $750 million in capital projects. If you need any details about that, again, reach out to us or make sure that we have your information. We will be following up with everyone as we proceed. One other thing that I did want to mention is what Fernando talked about just now. Prop 209 was actually passed in 1996, and it does prevent, among other things, including education and contracting, any preference based on gender as well as ethnicity. Now, that is up for repeal in November. So the county has actually already gone on the record, the Board of Supervisors has gone on the record as supporting that repeal. That is why when you're actually registering, it actually makes sense for you maybe right now to register also as a MBE or a WBE, even if you're not getting the preference, because we are planning for that potential repeal, and any of the program design will impact you in the coming months. Finally, I just want to say thank you to all of our wonderful presenters, and most importantly, thank you for participating in our event today. I promise you this is not the first and only. We're going to continue to have more events where we're going to continue to share more information with you. We truly appreciate your dedication and your entrepreneurial spirit, especially during this difficult time. We are here to serve you, so please let us know how we can serve you better. We'll leave the Q&A on again for a few more minutes, and we will be posting this and we'll let you know when all of this information will be available again. Thank you, be well, and be safe.
Mike